from Columbia in high definition. This is WIS News 10.
Good evening, I'm Ben Hoover.
And I'm Judy Gatson. On the news at 5, we showed you how several lawmakers used the state plane for day trips to the beach, a one-way flight to Chicago, to the Speaker of the House, booking rides to deliver speeches.
WIS lead investigator Jody Barr tracked down those lawmakers who took those flights. He continues his investigation live now from the State House. Jody.
Well, Ben and Judy, the lawmakers we talked to about this story all defended their use of the state airplane fleet. Each told me every flight they took served a taxpayer interest. Here's their explanations so you can decide. This is the state's largest, most expensive airplane. The Beechcraft King Air 350 cost more than $1,200 an hour to fly, but that hasn't stopped some lawmakers and state agencies from using it. The only standard for taking it out, the trip must be for official state business. Have you found that the state airplane is being used for official state business 100% of the time?
I can tell you that's what I'm doing.
Our investigation found Republican House Speaker Bobby Harrell took the state plane to an upstate apple festival. The trip cost taxpayers $3,300. Can you look taxpayers in the eyes and say that a trip like that where you're simply giving speaking engagements at a cost of $3,300 is a change, is that a smart use of taxpayer money?
It was important to the people in that area. It's a huge event for the folks in that area. They had asked me to come and give the keynote speech for the opening of the event, but for an airplane, I wouldn't have been able to be there to do that.
Our investigation also found within the past 18 months, House Speaker Bobby Harrell used the plane 5 times to fly to the upstate to deliver speeches. The cost, $12,105.
And I want to try to get around the state as much as I can. I think it's important for the Speaker of the House to make himself accessible to people all over the state.
Flight records show House Democrat Todd Rutherford took the plane to the White House twice. Once for a Congressional Black Caucus meeting, another, Rutherford took his wife along for a Black History Month event. Total cost, $5,015. Can you defend those flights you took as a good public use of that money?
Not only can I defend them, but I would recommend that more lawmakers look into using the state plane.
Rutherford says the plane is an important tool for lawmakers to meet groups across the state, to hear their input on public policy. And uses like Speaker Harrell's, Rutherford says, is exactly why the planes exist.
It's just huge for all of those people, and that's why they invite us places. They want us to come. They want our input, and the cost of bringing everybody to Columbia is just way too expensive.
House Democrat Bakari Sellers charged taxpayers $4,690 for a trip to Myrtle Beach and one to the White House. Were those state business?
Oh, of course. One was actually to go to the White House to talk about state issues. I got a chance to talk to the Chief Information Officer for the United States government about the South Carolina data breach.
Sellers says his Myrtle Beach trip was to meet with elections directors to talk about election law changes. Sellers is a member of the Election Law Subcommittee.
Were they state business? Of course. And those were the most efficient ways to get there. Is there abuse? Yes. And do those people need to be called out? Yes. And should they repay the state? Yes.
We're getting more activity. We have more work. And in the future, probably more plane flights.
State Commerce Secretary Bobby Hitt's agency used the state plane 10 times in the last 18 months for a total of $32,595. A review of Commerce's flight records show 19 confidential passengers flew on the state plane in the last 18 months. Should folks be alarmed when they see the Commerce Department using flights and confidential passengers listed on those?
No, it's pretty normal. It's part of our routine business.
Hitt explains they agree to secrecy when businesses look to build in South Carolina. It helps the potential employer keep potential business moves out of the media and away from competitors. Once a deal's made, Hitt says, those confidential passengers are made public. Hitt argues they couldn't do business without access to airplanes.
So if we have a client come to the state and we have one day with them and we have to show them 3 sites, you can't drive to the 3 sites in many instances in the time that's allotted.
Last October, Hitt took a flight to Omaha and took former Gamecock pitcher Michael Roth with him. Well, the flight to Omaha, Michael Roth and some staff here from Commerce, $8,250, and the disclosure form shows marketing the state of South Carolina.
That's correct. I went out there when I took Michael Roth with me because the meeting was being held in the stadium where the Gamecocks won the championship.
Hitt says Roth gave a speech at dinner that night involving one of the largest site consultant groups in the nation. The trip was to seek out potential business. Well, the flights we just showed you sparked a movement inside the State House to make major changes to the state aircraft fleet. Some lawmakers think the state needs to just sell these airplanes. Coming up at 7, we'll show you the drastic move the Senate took 3 weeks ago. Plus, we'll show you the one flight that still has many lawmakers here fired up. From the State House, Jody Barr, WIS News 10.